All right, welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we are putting exactly 3 minutes on the clock for a rapid-fire look at the absolute biggest forces shaping our world right this second. We're going to connect the dots between a completely booming AI economy, some really intense global conflicts, and environmental extremes. So, the clock is officially ticking. Let's just jump right in. Okay, let's start things off with a bit of a paradox. Our economy is running incredibly hot right now. We've got key inflation gauges, like core PCE, sitting right at 3.7%. And honestly, geopolitical fears seem to be rising by the day. But here's the wild part. The University of Michigan is reporting that consumer sentiment is actually picking up. Yeah, despite elevated treasury yields and all this war uncertainty, consumers are kind of just shrugging off the macro anxiety, at least for now. But make no mistake, that global anxiety, it is very, very real. We are currently halfway through a 60-day negotiating window, and the US-Iran situation remains incredibly tense. The Defense Department just had to add 32 wounded troops to its casualty database amid ongoing strikes, and we're seeing new US sanctions targeting the Mahan air network. At the same time, there was a drone strike on a US gas tanker in Egypt. Now, Iran is completely denying involvement, calling it a false flag, while Egypt is out there urging for Muslim solidarity. It's a highly volatile mix. And the crucial takeaway here is how all of this directly threatens global energy, because commercial traffic is seriously faltering through that massive bottleneck at the Strait of Hormuz. WTI crude oil has spiked up to about $85 a barrel, which, as you know, goes right back to compounding that pressure on everyday consumer budgets. So, with energy costs ticking up and this volatile Middle East conflict literally hanging over our heads, you really have to ask yourself, how on earth is Wall Street reacting to all of this global uncertainty? Well, the answer might actually surprise you. Despite an incredibly chaotic news cycle, July closed completely in the green. Seriously, the Dow gained 0.5% on Friday, officially posting its fourth straight winning month, while the Nasdaq jumped a really robust 1.3%. Now, what's fascinating is the sheer scale of the money driving all this optimism. It is staggering. Major cloud giants, we're talking Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Alphabet, are collectively forecasting anywhere from $720 to $745 billion in 2026 capital expenditures. To put that into perspective, that is an absolute ocean of cash, and it proves the AI infrastructure boom isn't just continuing, it's literally accelerating. And you can really see how this perfectly illustrates the current divide happening in big tech. Take Amazon, for example. Their shares just soared 12% after a total blowout second quarter. That was driven by a massive $42.2 billion AWS beat and those aggressive AI investments. But then, on the flip side, you have Apple dropping 8%. Even though they had record Q3 revenue of $109.4 billion, weak sales in China and some pretty soft forward guidance ended up pulling their stock down during Tim Cook's final earnings call. But zooming back out, this ferocious AI spending is highly contagious globally. It actually triggered a historic 18% single-day surge in South Korea's KSPI index. I mean, think about this. Memory chip maker SK Hynix literally hit its 30% daily trading limit, and Samsung jumped 27% in a single session. No way around it, that is massive. And the Asian tech momentum certainly didn't stop there. Over in China, memory chip maker CXMT debuted on the Shanghai Exchange with a mind-blowing 531% gain. Fueled by massive revenue growth, they instantly became China's most valuable listed company, sitting at a $487 billion market cap. But the markets aren't the only thing running hot right now. A genuinely dangerous heat wave is intensifying across the US. We are looking at forecasts hitting 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the Southwest, mostly California, Nevada, and Arizona. Plus, a blistering 110-degree heat index in Dallas-Fort Worth before they get a very brief cool down to 95 this Saturday. And at the exact same time, NASA is tracking these massive plumes of dense wildfire smoke blowing down from Canada. It's essentially blanketing the U.S., triggering hazardous air quality alerts that stretch all the way from the Midwest over to Boston. Okay, so wrapping up our 3 minutes, you're going to want to keep your eyes on some imminent deadlines hitting this August. Starting this weekend on August 3rd, we have the MLB trade deadline, where a massive Tarek Skubal deal is expected. Then, on Wednesday the 5th, Disney has its earnings call, along with an expected billion-dollar-plus sale of its A+E stake to Hearst. And looking a bit further out to August 17th, that incredibly tense US-Iran 60-day peace window officially expires.
So as we balance this completely booming AI market wealth against highly volatile geopolitical conflicts and extreme environmental risks, I want to leave you with this. Which of these forces do you think will ultimately define the rest of 2026? Think about it. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.